So thanks again so much for coming and sharing your films again with us.
こちらこそ。
Thank you.
So to start off with, I have to ask, what is the liquid sludge that you put Matsuda-san into?
あれはよく人生泥沼にはまるって言うじゃないですか。その心の中をちょっとやってみたんですけど。
So you often say in Japanese that you're roiling in mud, and so I wanted to express that somehow.
僕も将棋やめた時はああいう泥沼にはまった心境だったんですよ。
Back when I also used to play shogi, I felt similarly.
それをやりました。
Oh, I imagine it was, I think it was very effective as a dramatic device. I'm also wondering how difficult it was to wash off for Matsuda-san.
あれはね、なんだっけ、ワックスじゃなくて、すごくスベスベしたやつで、あれは2回やったんですよ。まあ映画では一瞬なんですけど、15分ぐらいやってるんですよね。だから30分ぐらい泥沼で暴れてるのをずっと撮ってたんですよね。
So it's not really wax, but the actual thing that we used is quite smooth. That all said, we shot this scene twice, and each time we shot for about 15 minutes. So he was in there for a total of 30 minutes.
松田龍はそれで肌が綺麗になったって言ってました。
Ryuhei Matsuda said that his skin is now clear thanks to that.
Great. So as you mentioned in the introduction, you have a history with shogi and were involved in the shoreikai up until your teenage years. And I also know that one of the first scripts that you worked on with Junji Sakamoto for Ote or Checkmate was also in the world of shogi. But I'm wondering what made you want to return to this world for this film at this point in your career?
チェックメイトは大手は坂本淳二が監督した映画で、やっぱり自分で一度将棋の映画を監督してみたかったんですよね。
So Ode Checkmate was directed by director Junji Sakamoto, and I always knew that I wanted to direct one myself.
で将棋の映画っていうのはアクションがないんですごく嫌われてた。4年ぐらい前からやってたんですけど、すごく嫌われて題材だったんです。
As with shogi, you don't really have any action scenes, and so I was working on this for about 4 years, and people really didn't like the project.
ただ10代の藤井君っていうスーパースターが将棋界で生まれて、それで将棋ブームが来たんですよ。藤井。
But then there was Fuji, the chess player that shows up, who's a teenager, and then thanks to him, there's a big shogi boom that happened.
それでお金出してくれることになって作れました。
And that's how I was able to get this film funded.
I understand. So, as mentioned in the introduction, you've shown many films here at Japan Cuts before. And this is quite different. Some of your previous films involve warring factions of gangs within high schools, charismatic cult leader on an island, and many other maybe more violent stories, escaped convicts roaming the wilderness. And this film may appear quite different, but there's also a similar attention to kind of breaking hierarchy and kind of social norms and rebellion in a very different world. I'm wondering if this is an important theme for this film as well as your other work, kind of breaking hierarchies.
まあ日本はデフレが20年続いてるっていう、あまり経済的によろしくない状態なんですけど、でもなんかこの映画が今の日本で支持を受けたのは一度やめたものが復活できるっていう題材だと思います。そこはなんか今おっしゃったようなことは当たってるのかもしれないですね。
So Japan's economy has not been doing so well. There's been a lot of deflation going on. But the film was received very well. And I wonder if it's perhaps because it is about somebody who stopped doing something but then was able to return. And perhaps there's something shared within what you're just talking about.
And throughout the film, you work to build tension within scenes that perhaps on the face of it wouldn't appear all that interesting to people sitting across a chessboard. But I think you shoot that room in every possible way, the camera hovering above them, circling the room. What was your approach with your cinematographer, Kazama-san, in order to make the shogi battles as exciting as possible? I think sound is also very important.
将棋は2人の男が向かい合って4、5時間動かないゲームなんでカメラが動くしかないですよね。それでいろんな撮り方をそのシーンで同じ撮り方はしてないんですけど、それをカメラマンと工夫してやりました。
So shogi, as you saw, is two men facing each other and sitting in front of each other for 4 to 5 hours. And they're not moving. So the only thing that could really move was the camera. So I placed the camera in very different ways, and I talked with the cinematographer to figure out different ways we can shoot.
将棋のすごく寄ってる絵なんかはカメラのレンズが1メーター以上あるんですよね。そういうレンズをクレーンに乗せて。結構撮影現場はすごく面白い感じでした。
So the scenes where you see the shogi close up, the shogi chess pieces close up, we were actually using a lens that was about 1 meter long and using crane shots as well. So the on-set experience is also very interesting.
And I'd like to ask one more question before opening it up to the audience so you can begin to think of your questions. But in the film, there's such a focus on kind of life trajectory and the pressure that people face to either make it big or become successful, satisfy their dreams or satisfy the pressures of their family. And that's illustrated really well, especially with Satoshi Tsumabuki's character, the kind of pressure that can be on to reach pro level by a certain age. The filmmaking world is very different, but how do you position the kind of shogi world and the filmmaking world in terms of the kind of pressure to fulfill your vision or dream within playing the game?
映画の世界と将棋の世界は全く関連性がないと思います。あんまり似ていないと思いますね。
I actually don't really think that filmmaking and the shogi world have anything in common.
やっぱり将棋はやっぱりボクシングとかテニスとかそういう勝ち負けのゲームなんで、そっちの方が近いと思います。映画にはそんな勝ち負けっていうのはないですね。明確には。
The shogi, I believe, has something more similar to things such as boxing or tennis, where it's a world of winning and losing. I don't find filmmaking to be the same.
ただ将棋盤っていういわゆる戦争ごっこですけど、それとなんかその映画で集団でものを作るっていうのは少し似てるとは思います。
But one thing I can perhaps say is that on the shogi board, it's basically a war play that's going on the board. And so it does feel similar somewhat to creating a film, especially towards the end.
Interesting. That sounds like a healthy approach to filmmaking as well.
勝ち負けは観客とか批評家が作るんじゃなくて、俺がいつも勝ち負け、勝った負けだって言ってます。
When I think about winning and losing in filmmaking, it's not so much about audience reception or criticism from critique. Rather, I say whether I won or lose for myself.
なかなか勝てないですけどね。
It's very hard to win, honestly.
So let's hear from the audience. If you have a question, please raise your hand high, and a microphone on either side will come to you. I see a hand right here on the side of the stage. Yeah.
Thank you very much for this wonderful film. Like I actually cried, even though it's not. I know it's not sad, but it's I think it's really moving. But one question that I felt it might be hard because even though you mentioned in the film that how the character is going against the old system, it's like a rebellion. So we're trying to make exception for him. But in the end, he still become a poodle. And he's still becoming a poodle by winning the game. So I felt like, in a way, it is a submission to the system. And the system does really not change. So I don't know, but I know it's not about the egg, the film itself. But I just want what do you think about does he really actually change the system, or the film didn't intend to actually make him to change anything, but more like a heroic act for himself?
構造的には彼の功績で誰でもプロになれるっていうことになりました。
Regarding the system, so because of what he did, now anybody can become a professional.
それがいくら年取っててもできると。
And age doesn't matter either, even if you're a lot older.
ただ彼以降一人しかそれは生まれてないです。
But only one person after him has become professional that way.
かなり厳しいそれもかなり厳しいシステムだと思います。
So in that sense, it's still a very hard system.
でもそういうなんか一つ扉を開いたんだから彼はすごい人だと思います。
But I do think that he is an important person because he was able to open that one door.
More questions? I see a hand over here.
Thank you for the movie. From the first scene, the sound of placing the piece on the board was such a big part of the movie. It happens all the way throughout, like a percussion soundtrack. For you, what was the importance of that sound, or how you used it?
ここ最近何本か将棋の映画が作られてるんです。2本ほど作られてるんですけど、どの映画も音がダメだと思ったんですよ。
Recently, there's been 2 other shogi films that have been made, but for both those films, I've been saying the sound is not right.
それは僕みたいに本当に将棋指してるやつしかわからないことだと思うんです。
And I think that's something that only somebody like myself who actually has played shogi understands.
やっぱ将棋は音で決まるって思ってました。
I really think shogi is it's all in the sound.
で、その撮影終わった後に将棋盤にマイクを5本ぐらい仕掛けて、全ての音を僕が取りました。
So actually, after the shooting was over, I put 5 microphones around a shogi board and actually recorded the sounds myself.
で、オープニングのその将棋は原作者の瀬川さんの手です。
So the shogi playing that you see at the very beginning of the film is Mr. Segawa's hand.
で、エンドクレジットが終わって最後指すのは僕です。
And after the credits roll, and the hand you see is actually my hand.
その時監督を務めたのはRyuhei Matsudaです。
The person who was directing that final shot was Ryuhei Matsuda, the actor.
ものすごい NG を食らいました。
He gave me a lot of retakes. He made me do a lot of retakes.
More hands? Can we bring the microphone up here to the front? You keep your hand up. Yeah, right here.
So you mentioned that the shogi board is an analog for war strategy. It descends from war strategy, and I didn't grow up with the tradition of shogi. I never played it myself, so my knowledge of its history is pretty superficial. But in making this film, did you have a sort of a kind of a message or a metaphor in mind as to suggest, shogi as a kind of way of solving conflict without violence?
なんとなくその将棋の一局っていうのは人生の縮図のような気がしました。
I do feel a little bit that shogi as a game feels like a mapping of a lifetime.
いろんな人々がいてて、そしてこう進んでいくんですよね。それはチェスとは違って取った駒を再び使えるんです。
Lots of different people appear, sort of like in life, and as you move forward with the game, unlike chess, you can use pieces that have already been used before.
でこの映画もまるで将棋のゲームのように登場人物を配置して全てが一つになるっていう構造を作りました。
And with this film as well, I had a lot of characters appear, and together they create one story.
映画の脚本自体のストーリーテリングがすごく将棋的だとは思います。
I really feel that the script of this film feels very shogi-like.
Yeah, more questions? Could we go all the way to the back? Just beyond the back row. If you keep your hand up. Thank you.
Since I don't know anything about shogi before I saw this, I was wondering if people concede before they actually lose and it's psychological, or do they only concede when they've definitely lost? It was hard to tell.
普通将棋に詳しい人でないと見ただけでは分かんないと思います。
Unless you really know shogi very well, I don't think you can tell just by looking.
だからでも映画の中の将棋盤は実際に僕とセガワさんが作ってるんですけど、すごくリアルにありました。
But the shogi board that you see on the screen with the pieces up was created with myself and Segawa.
そこはちょっとチェスはやっぱり駒が減っていくんでちょっと違うところですよね。分かりづらいですね、将棋の方が。
It's a little more difficult to be able to see in that way, more so than games like chess.
There's another hand here towards the center. If you could bring the microphone over here. If you could keep your hand up right there with the scarf. Yeah.
You mentioned in response to one of the questions that it's hard to win as a filmmaker. Is that because it's hard to achieve the vision that you have originally for the film?
そうですね。自分の思うようにどれだけ作れるかって完璧に思うように作られた映画はやっぱりないですね。
Yes, that's exactly how I mean it. It's hard to get it as close to the first image that I have. I don't think I've been able to make it perfect to what I had originally in mind.
だからもう全ての作品はそれは完璧な勝利はないんですけど、でもショッタンは結構できたんじゃないかなと思ってます。
With all my films, I don't think I won completely, but with Shottan, perhaps I got very close.
We have time for about one more questions. If we could bring the microphone over here. If you could keep your hand up, please. Thank you.
Hello. Since this film is based upon Segawa's life, how much input did he have into the film itself and the screenplay?
内容に関して口出すことは全くなかったです。
Regarding what's the contents of the film, he didn't really have anything.
でもセガさんのことを僕はやっぱり同じ年も一緒なんですごく分かってた、世代的にも分かってたからだと思うんです。
Segawa and I are actually the same age, so even generationally, I understood a lot about him.
それで全ての役者たちの将棋の駒を足す手つきを指導してもらいました。
What he did do is help out the actors in how they use their hands in shogi.
それと全ての将棋盤の、形も彼がやってます。
And also, all the shapes of the pieces that you see in the shogi is done by Segawa.
そして喫茶店でちらっと出てます。
He appears very briefly in the cafe scene.
で撮影現場に毎日行ってたんですけど、その映画の中では撮影現場では役名で庄司って呼ぶんで、松田龍平と瀬川さんがよく2人で現れることがありました。
So he was there on set every day, and on the set, people are saying Shoji because that's the name of the character of the film, the protagonist of the film. So oftentimes, both Segawa-san and Matsuda Ryuhei, the actor, would both appear.
だから彼の仕事、将棋指しの仕事と安室奈美恵の解散コンサート以外は全て来てくれました。
He was on set except for the times that he was playing a game or when Namura Mia, huge pop star, was retiring.
Okay, just to wrap things up, may I ask if you have any new projects that you'd like to share with the audience?
今日本でちょっと公開してるんですけど、16分の映画を作りました。
It's being released in Japan right now, but I made a 16-minute short film.
それは今日本ではすぐ大麻がちょっと見つかったとかなんだかんだで自粛をするんですよね。映画を見せない、DVD 出さないっていう、それに対する反抗のような映画です。
And that's about the fact that in Japan these days, just because you find a little bit of weed or little things like that, people are starting to self-censor themselves and not show films. And so it's a rebellion against that.
多分昨日か今日の朝日新聞に日本では載ったんで、ちょっといろいろそういう話題にはなっている作品です。
The film was talked about in the Asahi newspaper in Japan yesterday, and it's being talked about right now.
このね、ジャパンソサイティ、ジャパンカツでもやらないかって言ったんですけど、時間がないって言われました。
I actually asked whether we could show it at Japan Cuts this year, but I was told there's not enough time.
16分なんだけど、Q&A をやめるのかどうするのかって言われました。
But I said it was only 16 minutes, but then they said, well, so do you not want to do a Q&A?
But we're very happy to have you here for the Q&A.
No Q&A.
But as the most often returning Japan Cuts guest, we are looking forward to having you here again in the future. We hope.
もちろんありがとうございます。Thank you very much.
Thank you so much again for coming.
Thank you very much.